Everybody loves ice cream. What's not to like? It's creamy, cold, and delicious. It cools you down on a warm day and heals your soul during difficult times. What a lot of people forget is that this dessert is made under pressure. How many of you feel that you can thrive under pressure? I've had my fair share of chaos in life, and surmounting them has made me stronger, more resilient, and a better person. I have the highly underrated ability to remain calm in the midst of uncertainty. This isn't a natural talent, but something I accidentally learned over time. My parents separated when I was 7, and I ended up living in the US. I know that for a lot of Filipinos, moving overseas is a dream come true. But what they don't realize is that it's its own challenges. My life didn't have structure. I switched schools 4 times in a span of 4 years. Because I was the new kid and a minority at that, I was always made to feel like an outsider. I decided that there were 2 ways I could deal with my situation. I could pity myself and blame everyone for my circumstances, or I could change my perspective. I decided on the latter. No matter how difficult things got, I would challenge myself to find something positive about the situation. I began to take stock of what I had going for me and concentrate on cultivating those instead. I loved basketball, and being able to play it regularly made me realize I was healthy. I began making friends, and they became my support system. It made me realize I was not alone. I also tried to see things from an outside perspective. Yes, my parents had split up, but they are both alive, and they both loved me. Yes, I had to move to a different country and switch schools often, but I had a roof over my head, was eating 3 meals, and receiving a good education. I chose to control the factors in my life, which were my attitude and my available resources. I carried this mindset with me when I started working in the cable TV industry, and especially relied on it when I began making and selling artisanal ice cream. Any entrepreneur will tell you that running a business is hard, especially during the first few years. A business, like a baby, is you constantly have to nurture and monitor if you want it to grow. In my case, not only did I decide to switch careers, the product that I wanted to make didn't exist in the Philippines. This means that aside from creating artisanal ice cream, I also had to educate the public on what it was. To be honest, the first few years were difficult. I didn't come from a culinary background, so I had to learn everything from scratch. It was also turned by many distributors because no one was sure if they could sell premium artisanal ice cream. The rejection didn't just come from strangers. Some of the people closest to me doubted that my little company would survive. Some thought it was a phase and would tell me that I should do something more serious than selling ice cream. Again, I had to rely on challenging my perspective. But this time, there was something else. I had to stay true to my purpose. I had no control over how people thought, so I trained myself to not let the comments and rejections get to me. Since I was introducing a new product to the market, I knew that I would be met with a lot of doubt and rejection. I had to find a way to not get discouraged. I had to find a way to be constantly finding my purpose. Like many entrepreneurs, my business came from a personal need. I love ice cream, and I've had the privilege of trying many varieties around the world. I wanted to develop the type of ice cream that people would equate with high quality, and more importantly, joy. It was believing that I was providing clients with little tubs of happiness instead of just wanting to make money that I managed to keep going. Being a businessman taught me many things. One of the most important, which is chaos is present. There's a lot of dust in the air, and you need to slow down and let the dust settle before making a decision. The last thing you want to do is make a decision without seeing clearly. I almost closed the business during the pandemic. Like many businesses, mine took a hit because of the lockdown. We were only doing 20% of our regular sales because majority of our clients, hotels, restaurants, coffee shops, and airlines, were forced to shut down. Even though we were making much, much less, I continued to pay my employees their full salaries out of my pocket. Because we were losing money, this meant I had to get money from my own pocket. It was not sustainable. I was on the brink of closing when my father took me aside and encouraged me to continue the business. After all, we had to keep on milking the cows on a daily basis. He offered to help me with expenses if it meant being able to stay open. I agreed, and it's a good thing because a few months later, one of the largest listed private equity groups wanted to partner with us. Because of this, we were able to not just keep operating, but we also expanded our business. Keeping calm in the midst of chaos isn't easy, but it can be learned. It's a skill. The more you practice it, the easier it gets. Cream, sugar, and other ingredients become ice cream, a better version of themselves when subjected to the chaos of churning. And just like ice cream, by changing our perspective, remembering our purpose, and pausing before we make a decision when faced with uncertainty, we have, without realizing it, become a better version of ourselves, someone who thrives even when faced with the unknown. Thank you so much.